different things from current events to construction to workforce development, manufacturing, and then how it takes a collaborative effort, right? And so we want to get right into this, just talking through kind of how we work, with industry partners,
Okay.
educators, and community.
AKA everybody.
Right. When you think about 4 million jobs that
Yes.
are available and that are going to be available, I should say, by 2031,
Real close.
right?
It's
Like
coming real fast.
it does
It's
not
here.
happen. It's here.
Yeah.
It does not happen by yourself. Like trying to solve that problem, it does not happen by yourself. And so it takes a collaborative effort. When you think about putting young people in the vicinity of understanding what their opportunities are,
Yeah.
right? Like you've got to begin to partner with educators to do that. And then when you think about the industry making aware the vast amount of opportunities that exist within construction, like you got to have industry partners
Yeah.
to introduce what they can do and talk about the opportunities and what it takes to get there. And then you've got construction that takes place within all of our cities and communities, and you've got so many different organizations or what have you. You've got the chambers of commerce, right? And so it takes a community to bring them in,
Yeah.
right? When developments are going up in their particular municipalities or what have you. And so it takes all three.
Yeah.
And we get a chance to do that with IBT. We affectionately call it IBT, but it's I Built This,
Yes.
which is coming up. We've got our first one coming up for 2026, right?
Ah,
Yeah, on March 4th
in 3
in Santa
weeks.
Barbara, California.
So if you're on the West Coast, we are going to be there in Santa Barbara the first week of March, specifically March 4th. Really excited about that because ideally what we're doing is creating the ecosystem that is currently siloed, but really doing the through line, right? Connecting them, identifying ways in which you can partner effectively and collaboratively. This is not a one-man band. There's various initiatives happening, there's various organizations, there's various educational systems, but how do we work collaboratively and intentionally to ensure, right, that who we're doing all the work for, which is our next generation, that they know how to come into this industry and thrive. And additionally, we as organizations and industry are preparing for them, making space for them, excited for them, and positioning ourselves right in their view. And then for educators, resourcing them. Just imagine if you're an educator and all the things that are happening right now and all the demands, right, to make sure that senior is ready to cross the line into young adulthood, and coupling with their parenting, coupling with their home community. Like, how are we all working together to create these accessibility points? So we love what we're doing right now. Essentially, we are bridging the gap, right, between all those various stakeholders, but specifically for our next generation, how can we be intentional today for what we're going to need in the future?
Yeah, I think when you talk about bridging the gap, like you've got to stand in the gap.
Yeah.
Like
Ooh,
that's
good.
how you bridge it.
Yeah.
You've got to stand in the gap. You have to understand what some of those felt needs are. You have to understand what some of the barriers are.
Yeah.
And you have to build connection with those who consider that gap to be a barrier.
But the first pass though really is
Yeah.
to care.
Oh yeah, for sure.
To care enough to know, or to be informed enough to know. Not saying you don't care, but to be informed enough as leaders within our industries to say, wait a minute, we're going to have a need. What are we not doing? And then be vulnerable in that moment as well as a leader and say, we need to get more involved and be intentional. I think it starts with awareness, because I think we assume, because of our systems and how they have been built over decades, in some part, we're just going with the flow, right?
Yeah.
And we're being kind of reactionary, not really proactive. But now we're in a place where we're talking about 4 million jobs. We can't be like laissez-faire. We need to be actively engaging, because we hear on one side that no one wants to work. We hear on another side, we have a lot of work, we can't fill those roles.
Which is not true.
Which is not true. We hear on the other side, well, because I can't fill those jobs and those roles, I have to prolong my project. So that means dollar signs, right? So it's a thing, it's an issue, it's a crisis that is compounded, right? That has a tendency to have a domino effect and have a multifaceted impact if we do not be aware.
Yeah.
And want to be aware because we care about making space for the next generation. And I'm using the word care because it can't just be I'm filling the job.
Right.
It has to be like, to your point, standing in the gap, you have to know the gap exists. And
Yeah.
you have to want to play a role in that to contribute for that gap to no longer be an issue.
I think one of the first barriers is students don't see construction, students don't see the trade, students don't even have awareness of that industry being a
Yeah.
good first choice.
Yeah, exactly. The full
That's
breadth of
that's
it.
the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
A lot of times, and education is trying to get out of that stigma.
Yeah.
But construction is seen as an industry that you fail into,
Yeah.
right? Like when you're not on the track of success,
Yeah.
and I put that in air quotes, right?
Right.
To go to college, then that's when alternative options are presented,
Yeah.
right? And that's where construction comes into the picture. So if you're in an environment that doesn't cultivate going straight into a career, i.e., construction or manufacturing, as a preeminent choice, a first choice, then it's hard for them to get excited, celebrate it, and pursue it, right? And
Yeah.
so that's one of the barriers that the industry has, is that construction is seen as a failed into industry.
Yeah, from the vantage point of the student, the prospective student.
Right.
But again, how can you be something that you don't see or you don't get exposed to?
Correct.
So honestly, that's on us, industry. I'm talking to you. Knock knock. I'm talking to you. That is on us. We have failed the next generation with our laissez-faire approach, saying, "Oh, you see us doing construction in your neighborhood. Oh, you see us remodeling the highway. You
Yeah.
see us. We're out here. We might be even remodeling your school. But what does that mean for me? What does that mean for my innate giftings? How can I come into your industry? What is the defined path? And then you got to think about too, another layer on top of that. What if my parents have had a bad experience within their employee
yeah.
history? Or what if my teachers and my educators have no access to the job opportunities in those career pathways? Then I'm not going to get that within that school building. And so how do we actively aware, right? Acknowledge that exists, but then take some ownership. I'm employing the industry to just own it, right? That we should be able to do better in standing in the gap and closing the gap in the way in which the next generation sees the industry at large. If you ask an average 16-year-old, they could not tell you the full breadth of construction beyond a hard hat and a hammer.
Yeah.
If you want to just test it out, try it out tonight. If you have a teenager in your house or within your family, call them up. I want you to test, tried, and true that the average 16-year-old wouldn't be able to give you a full breadth of construction. And that has a lot to do with how we have set the system up and how we need to be good trouble and bringing more awareness to why we should be advocating for the built environment and the variety, right, of career pathways that exist so that we can really start to create solutions for the problem. Because we're in it.
Yeah.
We're like knee deep in it.
And I just finished recording an outreach episode, that'll drop a little later. But we were talking about like the difference between the industry now versus how it used to be.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
I
Big
think
difference.
construction was taken out of
Yeah.
education, in preparation for the onset of technology. And what we didn't consider was that we were going to be in a future, which is now, right, where both are still needed. So just as much as we need technology, and technology is very heavily integrated into construction, we still need those hands-on skill sets. And so educators, kudos to them,
Yes.
because they
Love
are
y'all.
beginning. Yeah, for sure. We work with educators all the time. You guys are a large component and partner with the work that we get a chance to do with bringing more visibility and awareness to opportunities. And so you have CTE, which is career and technical education, that's starting to come back into schools, but that's incremental.
Yep.
Right? And so, of course, that's not happening at full sweep at one time. That's from city to city, state to state, municipality to municipality, school district to school district.
Yep.
Right?
Coast to coast.
So
Yeah.
it's going to take a while. Meanwhile, right, you've got the industry that is in need of qualified workers.
Yeah.
So I think the industry is now at a pivotal point to where it has to understand that in order for sustainability to take place, they've got to do more than maybe they are accustomed to doing. And investing in career readiness will be to their benefit.
Yeah, because this is the thing. Both students, their families, and educators need to know that your company is in the backyard. They need to have more visibility to who you are, what you do, how you do it, why you do it, so that they can align, right, their gifts and abilities to say, I'm interested in being an electrician. I'm interested in being a carpenter. I'm interested into pursuing higher education and maybe going project management or being an engineer. They need to have visibility to what that looks like.
Yep.
We are also visual learners. We are an array of different styles of learning, but one of those things that we know is true is that we're visual. So how does the industry create more visibility, right? Removing the veil of what we perceive the industry to be to what it actually is in 2026.
Yeah.
Students need to have more visibility, as well as educators.
And I think it's what I love is, we have the awesome privilege of having the ear of both sides, or I should say all three sides.
Yeah.
When we've built that rapport with educators, and then we've built that rapport with the industry, and we're continuing to build more of that, right, in real time as we begin to do more, and we're building rapport with different markets and different cities, which are communities.
Yeah.
It's beautiful when those things come together with value alignment.
Oh, yeah.
Because educators are left with better working relationships with the industry. The industry is able to showcase and promote an industry that has done them well, where they get a chance to develop communities, right? Reshape communities. And then young people are able to get exposure and opportunity into a career that they didn't even know existed, right? And that's what happens with the I Built This events. So we always get excited around IBT season because we get a chance to actually live those experiences out from all three sides, right? The education and student side, the community side, but then also the industry side. And so I'm super excited, man, for us to go to Santa Barbara. I said it before, right? Yeah. Santa Barbara on March 4th. I'm saying it again. Just so that you know, right, where we going to be at on March 4th out in Santa Barbara, California. A little sunshine, but also, right, some deep impact. And so we're looking forward to jumping down in that city for the first time and being with the Santa Barbara community, partnering with them, CFPI. That's the California Fire Prevention Institute. Fire prevention is very huge and important out in California, but we're able to mix and merge, right? Like that, that specific industry with construction, because you have fire safety.
Interdependent on each other.
Correct. Right? That finds its way into a lot of construction because you have sprinkler systems. You have all of the fire prevention and safety that's built into construction, into the built environment. But you also need that for the natural environment, especially in California. And so we get a chance, to put young people in a position to understand what their options are, right? Considering how important fire safety is in California, but then also how important it is within the industry at large.
Correct.
And you can go anywhere with that.
Absolutely. And the fact that it's beyond just a pamphlet, right? Yes, it's great to do expos. Yes, it's great to have a 6-foot table, but this is more than that. It's more than information. It's an experience.
Yeah.
We get a chance to engage our students within each activity. Each partner gets to share their career journey, their trajectory, but also what does it mean to be in this career pathway? What are some of the next steps? The opportunities that it can create. And then the cool thing about the built environment, it can have a whole social economical shift for these students, right? And their aspirations to be whoever they want to become. But what I love about it most is that why it matters is that it goes beyond information, but really equips and informs students of what's next and what they can become. Because you got real people doing the work, actively in reach, and create some organic dialogue, which schools really love.
Schools need partners that are going to be engaged early.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They do.
Because you need to know that, right? Because if we're doing our respective jobs, whatever we're doing, sometimes you may miss what's happening in your backyard. And the only way to do that is how to break those walls down and just collaborate and share.
And give them hands-on experience.
Correct.
Because at some point in time, you have to you have to put into practice the information that you're getting.
Exactly.
Like you've got to see the practicality of the information. You've got to be able to apply what you're learning from an informational standpoint
Yeah.
at some point.
At some point. Yeah, right? But like, how do we do that? And even when you think about partnering with educators,
Yeah.
there is a huge need for work-based learning. Well, what does that mean? That means getting the students out of the classroom,
Yeah.
getting them exposed,
Which is what they
right?
appreciate.
What they appreciate beyond just being outside for a field trip, but what is it? How does it all go together? How does it make sense? Applied education. That is what CTE pathways, that is what work-based learning experiences, co-ops, dual enrollment, all of those various initiatives within our educational system, they allow students to have that. How do we as industry, right, then answer to that call, right? We already know the infrastructure is there, but how do we grow and expand that, right? We're really excited because we get a chance to collaborate with everybody at one time to really hopefully create more best practices in how to actively engage and also start to connect the dots, right? So if I'm doing this over here, this program over here, how do I make sure a sophomore understands it so they can come and be an intern their junior year?
And how are you guys?
Yeah, how are you
like
doing
partnering
that?
with your surrounding community?
Yeah.
Because construction is always taking place.
Always.
It's
Like,
everywhere.
literally.
So from an educator's perspective, from an industry partner perspective, or if you're just a member in the community, like how are you gathering all of those stakeholders?
Yeah.
Have you found it to be challenging? Like some have. Or have you been able to tap into some very good relationships and figure out like how to make it work? Have you piloted anything, to kind of start off small and then use that as this proof of concept of how bringing more accessibility to this industry that needs it, needs an influx of young talent, like having a proof of concept, maybe project or collaboration between community stakeholders to say, hey, we found something, this is how it works. Now, can we get more buy-in to scale that throughout our community and city?
Absolutely. It's really easier than it is hard. It's just us actually doing it, right? And doing it not as a one-off, but doing it and creating something that is programmatic and sustainable, so that you're not looking for this same program 2 years from now. So it's like, that's a great question, Paul. Like, what are some of the challenges that we're facing in our respective areas? And then what are some of the best practices that you guys have put in place? I think to even share that out in the comments, DM us. We're having a lot of various conversations with educators and industry partners across the country. And we'd love to just share out like what has been a true testament for you that's worked well with your future young adults in your school, or what has worked really well in your internship program as an employer, right? What are you seeing works best? Or what is needed? I think being on advisory boards as well, right? To make sure that those school systems are equipping, or you are playing an active role as well as an industry partner to the success, because we need the talent. And the cool thing about it is that I know the opportunity is real is because the labor shortage and crisis is across various sectors. Oh, yeah. Not just even in the built environment. So all the major sectors that you can even wrap your mind around, believe me, there is a labor shortage. And we have to do it differently than 1970. No, nothing against 1970. I don't know why 1970 comes into my mind.
I don't know why you always say 1970.
But just to give some distance and time and space to the fact that it's 2026 and we have to be innovative and creative.
We do.
And not depend on the existing systems, right? That may not have even been adapted to 2026. But that we are thinking innovatively and creatively about how to bring into view and create access to the next generation.
I think one of the things about crisis, although it is very unfortunate, right, because it happens in so many different ways regarding so many different things and or people or circumstances or locations, but one of the principles, if you will, of crisis is that it does create opportunity. Yeah. And I say opportunity not to, not at the expense, if you will, of other people, but it creates opportunity because we get a chance to explore different solutions that are more intentional. And so that's what this labor shortage and that's what this labor crisis actually affords us the opportunity to do, is to explore more intentional solutions. And with that, we begin to be open to more
Keyword.
conversations and collaborations that we did not consider, right? And so that's why we open up our IBTs to be collaborative in nature, and even for companies that may not be within construction per se, but they are deeply invested into their communities.
Yeah.
We're accepting sponsorships from various companies.
We want to partner with
that
you.
want to give back to youth,
Yes.
that want to put youth in a position to explore careers that they didn't know existed, to have that career readiness so that they can move into opportunities. Because if we're able to continuously do that, then we're not only changing their lives, but then we're putting their families in a position to succeed. And if we're replicating that, then now we're transforming communities. And so you get a chance to give back by you giving back
Yeah.
and supporting workforce development, by supporting career exploration.
Yep.
Then you also are supporting career awareness and opportunity,
Yeah.
which
For-
is supporting the growth of communities
And that's what you could easily. It's an easy win, 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 win.
all around.
Easy return on investment, right? Because most of us want to have a role, right? We care about the communities in which we build, we serve. Our maybe our future kids that would become adults one day, they're going to be a part of it. You care. You genuinely are concerned about how do I, as an individual or collectively, organizationally, how do we invest in the next generation? And we would love the opportunity to partner with you. And our door is open. We welcome you to collaborate with us, to be open-minded, to be ideating about ways in which we can intersect with our various initiatives. But I would think all of us need to be socially responsible for what's next, right?
For sure.
And it is a return on investment because we get a chance to hopefully enjoy our investment, whether it is, hey, you get to retire, hey, you get to mentor, you get the chance to be able to plant a seed and see someone's trajectory just go off the charts. Like, that's a good feeling. And that's the cool things that are happening with the IBT experience. Our industry partners are like, whoa, I didn't even know that I was I'm really passionate about what I do. And man, what I do every day can be impactful for the next generation just by sharing your story alone.
Yeah,
So we invite you to partner with us and to sponsor and come alongside because, again, one-man band. It can't be a one-man band.
Right.
We need you. The next generation needs you. And so there's an opportunity as you're looking at 2026.
We like to think that we do pretty dope work, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we can't do it alone.
Okay.
Right? Like, the only way that we've been able to accomplish
We wanna
the
partner.
things that we have accomplished thus far is because we have welcomed the partnership and the collaboration of others.
Absolutely.
Because we know it's needed.
Yeah.
Like, that is interdependence. If you hear me talk long enough, you're going to hear me mention interdependence, right? Being able to leverage what others can bring to the table so that we can accomplish something that's bigger than what we could do alone. And that's community.
My job. Community. Come on, don't you want to be involved? DM us, look us up, constructreach.com. Let's talk about it, okay? Let's talk about what are some things that you have been ideating about. Maybe it's upcoming, or maybe you want to just drop in on us, right? If you're in one of the respective cities that we're going to be at this year, we're starting in Santa Barbara, March 4th, this spring. Super, super excited before the 25-26 school year wraps up with Santa Barbara Unified School District. Come out. If you're in the community, DM us. Let's connect.
Yeah.
We'd love to partner with you for those initiatives. And if you're in the fire prevention protection, right, industry sector, you're looking at ways to continue to bring visibility to some of the career pathways that you're doing and you represent, hit us up. Email us, info@constructreach.com. Let's talk about ways we can come alongside each other.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and so we love the fact that we get a chance to come on here, you know, every other Thursday, talking about bridging the gap, but also talking about practical solutions to bridging that gap. And addressing workforce development. Again, like we said, 4 million jobs does not, like, you can't just turn your eyes at that.
No,
Like, that
it's
is
not a snap, crackle, pop.
that is a huge need. And the work needs to begin like yesterday.
Yesterday, y'all know
Right.
what yesterday was? Yesterday. We talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You know, so we're in it, but we need more partners to be in it. You know, and if you
With
cannot
us.
be physically in the space, you can still support.
Yep.
Right? Like we've got Construct, Reach, Where. You've got Build and Reachable Opportunities through
That's our
construction. That is our
slogan.
mantra.
Come on here.
Anytime you purchase Construct, Reach, Where, like it goes toward more, I built this event. It goes toward more career exploration, career readiness, and ultimately career opportunity. So yeah, that's it for today. You know, we
Okay.
will be back
Yes.
in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
right? To talk more about, you know, different industry insights, community insights, state of the industry, kind of where we are, what's needed, any current events.
Yes.
But yeah, let us know.
Come on, drop in.
Yeah,
Partner.
for sure.
Okay, we're on all social media platforms. Hit us up. Say the word partner if you want to DM us and or make a comment. We'll reach out to you, connect with you across all of our social media platforms, as well as info@constructreach.com. If you and your organization want to do more, let's link arms and let's do this work together.